back to Rishi's speech, he was criticised for his delivery. A lot of people said he sounded like he was reading out a CBeebies story, which actually I think is fitting, because if Rishi thinks he can stop the boats, he must also believe in fairy tales.
Well, it's interesting to look at his 5 pledges, because number 5, of course, is pass new laws to stop the boats.
Yeah.
It's not stop the boats,
yeah.
It's pass new laws. And really, when we look at all of the particular deliverables that he's set out there, none of them are actually a particularly high bar. He's not promising to stop the boats, he's promising to try to stop the boats.
But he typically does that, doesn't he? He typically under-promises because he likes to over-deliver.
Well, this was the final line in his speech, that he wanted to only promise what he could deliver so that he could deliver what he promised. And it is actually quite interesting to look at the particulars of each of these promises in his speech. These aren't particularly new things. No. Inflation is expected to halve this year. That's what he's promising. That's sticking to that expectation.
On that point, is that also not partly due to his policies, though? I mean, everyone was sort of saying, well, that's being forecast. Yes, but does he not deserve a bit of credit for that he and the Chancellor steadied the ship after a period of particularly big turmoil earlier at the end of last year?
Well, it is true to say that, for example, if the government was taking a less solid line on all of this strike action, that might be a very different forecast. Of course, the line from the government over the last, 3 months now has been that if double-digit pay rises were afforded across the board, this would embed inflation for the long term. So, to some extent, having this as the number 1 point in his 5-point plan does bolster his claims about the priorities of getting inflation down, of defeating that before any of these new pay reviews can come about for the next financial year. But also it is the case that this isn't a change in direction. This is perhaps a re-emphasis of a position that already existed.
And one thing quickly, I will give him credit that he did say, I will be judged on these things directly, no more excuses, no hiding places, and if I fail, then you can vote me out. Tom, can he deliver on these 5 things, and do you think he'll be punished badly if he doesn't?
I think he can deliver on these 5 things, mainly because the timing of each pledge is a very interesting point. We were talking to a government minister yesterday on the channel, and he was saying that the first pledge, that is about a 1-year delivery timescale. Getting the growth back in the economy, that is also a 1-year timescale. But in terms of getting debt down, that's over a 5-year timescale, and that's already what's predicted by the OBR. By 2026-27, debt falling as a proportion of GDP. So some of the timescales on this does actually mean that these are very achievable goals.
Well, it's all to play for. Tom Harwood, thank you for coming in. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.